Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to discuss about OET Listening Part C. In OET Listening Part C, you get two stat 1 and stat 2. Stat 1 you get total 6 questions and stat 2 you get 6 questions altogether. You have 12 questions. Okay. In this session, you get 90 seconds to read the question. So listen carefully from here. In this session, you get 90 seconds golden time to read the questions. Okay. That time what you have to do? You have to read the stem of the questions. We will call it as a stem. That is, you have to understand what the question is. Okay, so in this question, see in this question number 31, what does a Dr. Robson regard Chagas as a neglected disease? Why it is neglected? Dr. Robson regard. Okay, so after that, what you have to do? You have to read the options. Okay, you have three options. Okay, you have to read the options and underline the keywords because of first option, because of the social groups mainly affect social groups. Only these points you have to underline. Okay, because patients often don't realize infected, because its impact is severe in a relatively small number of cases. Okay, these are the two options. And second, Dr. Robson says that concerns over Chagas in the US are the result. Concerns over Chagas in the USA are the result of, okay, a rise in the number of people at risk of being infected the disease, a greater awareness of how many people they have the disease, and increased prevalence the insect carries the disease. Okay. So third question, patient called Marisol recently test her Chagas because, okay, she was worried about children she might give birth to. She wanted to know safer to her to donate blood. She thought she had symptoms associated the disease. Okay. Fourth question. What problem does Dr. Robson identify? Okay. What problem does Dr. Robson identify in the case of a patient called Jennifer? An unwillingness to accept that she was ill, an inability to tolerate the prescribed medicine, a delay between the initial infection and treatment. Okay. Next question. What does Dr. Robson say about his patient called Chuan? Okay, the development of his illness was typical of people with Chagas. An incorrect initial diagnosis resulted in his condition worsening. The medication he took was largely ineffective. Okay, medication ineffective. Next question. Dr. Robson thinks the short-term priority in the fight against Chagas is to increase efforts to eliminate the insect which carries the parasite, produce medication in a form that is suitable for children, design and manufacture viable vaccine. These are the points you have to underline. So you have 90 seconds to only 90 seconds to read the question and underline the keywords. Sometimes I have seen, sometimes you won't get enough time to complete all the 6 questions. Okay. So what you have to do, minimum you have to read 4 questions. Okay. Are you listening correctly? Minimum you have to read 4 questions thoroughly, understand each question is asking what and what are the keywords. Okay. So when you listen the audio, you have to listen carefully what the question. Okay, you have to keep in your mind what the question, and you have to understand what point he is talking about. Talking about the question. Okay, so there will be some clues or keys in the question. So you have to keep in your mind the keywords. Okay, then you will hear some rephrase or paraphrase sentence in the options. Okay, that you have to listen for carefully. Okay, and second one, sometimes some of the options almost same as it is in the audio. Okay, so you have that time, you will get the same options as it is in the audio. So then you won't select that options. Okay, because it is a distraction. And another one is sometimes they will give some words that will be the opposite. Sometimes here in the 31 questions it is said severe. Sometimes you will hear mild. Okay, so it is in the opposite. Okay, here it is a contrast, it is an opposite, it is a contradictory option. So that time you have to eliminate that option. Okay, in this session OIT listening part C, usually we do elimination technique. Okay, we hear the audio, we will hear the audio, and we will eliminate what are the wrong options they are saying. We will eliminate and we will finally reach the right options. Okay, like that you have to follow the technique. You got it? Okay, this is the method when you are doing the OIT listening part C. You have to underline the stem of the questions and underline the keywords of the options. Okay, if you do it thoroughly, definitely you will get minimum 4 to 5 marks in OIT listening part. This is my guarantee. Okay, please thoroughly follow my technique. Whatever technique I am giving you, please follow my technique and practice as it is set in the audio. Okay, so let's begin today's session, that is OT listening part C. We are going to do this test and we are going to listen this test and you are going to write the correct answer. First you have to write your answer, then you have to check your answer is correct or not. Okay, do this test.
Part C. In this part of the test, you'll hear two different extracts. In each extract, you'll hear health professionals talking about aspects of their work. For questions 31 to 42, choose the answer A, B, or C, which fits best according to what you hear. Complete your answers as you listen. Now look at Extract 1. Extract 1, questions 31 to 36. You hear an interview with a cardiologist called Dr. Jack Robson, who's an expert on Chagas disease. You now have 90 seconds to read questions 31 to 36.
See, now we are getting 90 seconds to read question 31 to 30. See, that time you have to utilize this 90 seconds to read this question thoroughly and underline the keywords. I told you sometimes this 90 seconds is not enough to read all the 6 questions. Then what you have to do, minimum you have to read 4 questions. Okay, you understood? Minimum thoroughly you have to read 4 questions and underline the keywords. Okay, if you are very good in reading, you can read complete 6 questions and underline all the keywords. If you are not good in reading, minimum you have to read 4 questions. Okay, got it? Okay, you have to read all the questions, okay, and underline what are the keywords. Okay, you will get this question from OET official website, because I have taken this question from OET official website. You can download it from there. Always, it is a very good idea. You if you are a beginner, practice your test in an official website. Okay, so there you will get minimum five materials of OET listening, reading, and writing
Today we're
test.
talking to Dr. Jack Robson, a cardiologist and Chagas disease specialist in the USA. Dr. Robson, what is Chagas disease and why is it referred to as a neglected disease?
See, you will get that question. Why? What is Chagas disease? Why it is called as a neglected disease? There is no need to wait for what is the question. So already they are saying about the question. So then you have to listen thoroughly. What are the options they are saying? What they are saying? Okay. So why it is called it as a neglected disease? That is the question. Why it is called as a neglected disease? Okay. Then you have to listen carefully and eliminate the wrong options. Okay, in this session only one technique will be applied here, that is elimination technique. You have to listen carefully. Your focus should be 100%. Okay, you don't deviate your focus should be 100% what he is saying, and listen carefully and answer your question.
Chagas is caused by a parasite called Trypanosoma cruzi. Most sufferers become infected when they're bitten by an insect, commonly known as the kissing bug, which carries the parasite.
Right.
People often don't realize they've been bitten, and during the initial phase of the infection, symptoms
See, don't realize people get infected. So here, almost same they said as it is in the audio. So, but here we are going to answer why it is neglected disease. So that we have to listen, like why it is neglected disease. So people even don't realize they are infected, so we can eliminate this option, but he is not saying why it is neglected, so people don't realize they are infected, so we can eliminate that option. Got it? How I am doing the elimination technique? Likewise, you have to follow my technique. Okay.
are normally mild or absent.
Okay.
70% of those infected never develop complications. For the other
Symptoms mild or absent here, because its impact is severe. Here it is impact is severe in relatively small number of cases. He is saying something like that. Okay, he said something. He says mild. He said mild. Okay.
30%, the disease tends to remain silent for a long time, often 30 years, but it eventually enters a chronic phase characterized by serious cardiac, digestive system, and neurological disorders. About 7 million people worldwide are thought to have Chagas, but it attracts relatively little publicity or funding for research. This indifference is largely down to it being primarily a disease of marginalized communities in Latin America, where it's endemic. You need resources to force significant action.
Right, I see. And are there
Then what is your answer? Tell me what is your answer. What answer you got here? Okay. Here it said the symptoms are mild. Initial audio he said the symptoms may be mild. Okay. Here it is severe. So you can eliminate this option. And other option he said, this indifference is largely down to being primarily a disease of marginalized communities in Latin America. So he is saying something about the social groups, marginalized communities in Latin America, where it's endemic. You need resources to force significant action. That means there in this group it is a neglected disease. So option number A is the correct answer. Got it? Okay.
any concerns in the USA about Chagas?
Yes, the insect carrying the parasite is actually endemic to the southern U.S. states. Since 1955, however, no more than 30 people have been bitten and infected while in the USA. The alarming thing, though, is that it's become apparent that
See, here it is said, um, the insect carrying parasite is actually endemic in the southern US states. He said, okay, since 1955, however, no more than 30% have been bitten. Okay, so here the option is a rise in the number of people at risk of being infected with this. Here it is said no more than 30% have been bitten and infected while in the USA. Okay, got it. So we can eliminate this option, and now we are going to hear rest of the options. Okay.
large numbers of first generation and some second generation immigrants from Latin America carry Chagas, around 300,000.
Right.
These people won't infect others, apart from congenitally and possibly through blood transfusion, but a significant proportion end up chronically ill.
And for the benefit of our listeners, can you describe an individual case?
So then, what is the answer? Here said large these people Latin America, these people won't infect others. Okay, here the because of a rise in number of people at risk of being infected with the disease, we can eliminate first. Then it is not saying anything about the increased prevalence or the insect which carries risk. Is not saying anything. Okay, so we can eliminate that option also. What about the second option? A data the what Dr. Robson says that concerns over shagas in the USA are the result of, okay. So they have the number how many people are got infected, okay. A greater awareness of how many people they have the disease. What they said about this option, they said, okay, um is it is become apparent that large numbers of first generation and some second generation immigrants from Latin America carry shagas around 3 lakh. Okay, around 3 lakh. These people want to infect others apart from congenitally and possibly through blood transfusion, but a significant proportion end up chronically ill. Okay, like the way he said. Okay, so then what is it? This option number C is not set anything in the audio, so we can eliminate this option. And option number A rise in number of people at risk of being infected. No, just wrong options. Okay, so a greater awareness of how many people, 3 lakh people have the disease, they have the, so then option number B is the correct answer. Okay, got it. Yes.
Well, this year, a Bolivian woman, let's call her Marisol, asked me if she could be tested for Chagas. She's a long-term U.S. resident, but she'd recently been on vacation in Bolivia, and at one point she had felt unwell. This often occurs with changes in diet and living conditions, and that's what Marisol assumed was the cause. She'd actually been planning to donate blood in Bolivia, but changed her mind at the
See, here the question is a patient called Marisol recently asked Dr. Robson to test her Chagas disease. Okay. So here in this audio, it is saying in the audio, she's a long-term US resident and she had recently been on vacation in Bolivia and at one point had felt unwell. Okay. This often occurs with changes in diet and living conditions, okay, and that's what Marisol assumed was the cause, okay. uh, Here we can, she thought she had symptoms associated with the disease, that we can eliminate here, okay. So she would actually be, why the cause, what is the cause? The patient called Marisol recently asked Dr. Robson to test her Chagas because why, okay. So she would actually been planning to donate blood, okay, in Bolivia, but changed her mind. So we can eliminate this. She wanted to know whether it is safe for donation. She actually wanted to donate her blood, but changed her mind. So we can eliminate that option also. Then we are going to hear another option.
Last minute. Ironically, if she'd gone ahead, the screening would have detected Chagas.
I see.
Hearing from relatives that Chagas can be transmitted congenitally was what prompted Marisol to come to my clinic.
Yes.
She and her
Why
partner
she
wanted to
come to
start
the
a
clinic?
family, and she was scared that she might pass the parasite on. Tests then
Why she come to clinic? That is the question. Okay. Matsu come to clinic. She and her partner wanted to start a family, and she was scared that she might pass the parasite on. So that's the reason she came to see the doctor. Okay, then what is the answer? She was worried about health of any children she might give birth to. So that's why option number A is the correct answer. Okay.
showed she did indeed have intermediate stage Chagas.
And what issues can arise in treating Chagas?
Well, another patient, I'll call her Jennifer, felt unwell following a vacation in a region where Chagas is endemic. Tests indicated she was Chagas positive. Jennifer was then referred to my clinic where we do further tests. Meanwhile, she looked up Chagas online and understandably was distressed by what she read. Why me? She once said to me. She was also fearful about taking benzonidazole, the main drug used for Chagas, because it has potentially harmful side effects. For optimum impact, it should be taken in the first 2 months of the disease, but by the time the testing had been completed, 10 weeks had passed since the likely date of the bite. For information, Jennifer took benzonidazole and didn't react badly to it.
And do you deal with patients in later
What is the
stages of the
answer of this
illness?
question?
Yes, I have a 62-year-old patient called
Got it? Okay, what is the answer? I will repeat once more. Okay. Well, another patient, I will call her Jennifer, felt unwell following a vacation in a region where Chagas is endemic. Okay. Test indicates she was Chagas positive. Test indicates she was Chagas positive. Here, what is the question? What problem does Dr. Robson identify in the case of a patient called Jem? What problem Dr. Robson identify? Okay. Jennifer was then referred to my clinic where we do further tests. Okay. Meanwhile, she looked up Chagas online and understandably was distressed by what she read. Okay. Why me? She once said to me she was also fearful about taking benzodiazole, the main drug used for Chagas, because it has potentially harmful side effects. For optimum impact, see, for optimum impact, it should be taken in the first 2 months of the disease, but by the time the testing had been completed, 10 weeks had passed. Okay, 10 weeks already had passed since the likely date of the bite. Okay, for information, Jennifer took benzodiazepine and didn't react badly to. So is there any word they are saying an unwillingness to accept she was ill? No. So we can eliminate option number one. Is there any word is saying she has an inability to tolerate the procedure? No. Say what is the delay between initial infection and the treatment is discussing. For optimum impact, she should have taken this medication 2 months of the disease, first 2 months of the disease, but by the time testing had been completed, the completed 10 weeks had passed. Okay, this already 10 weeks has passed, so she has taken the medication later on. So she delayed the delay between initial infection and the treatment. So because of this because of these reasons, option number C is the correct answer. Got it? These two questions you are going to answer. I will play the audio and message me what is your answer. Okay, you have to focus your 100 percentage. You have to read the question thoroughly and underline the stem of the question, and after that you have to read the options and underline the keywords. Okay, got it? Then you have to listen the audio first. Okay, when you are listening the audio, you have to focus 100 percentage. Okay, to focus 100 percentage, you have to keep it in your mind what the option is saying, what the question firstly, what the question is firstly, you have to go, you are going to answer the options. Okay, so thoroughly. You have to concentrate whatever audio is saying and eliminate the wrong options. Okay, got it?
Juan, 8 years ago, he was diagnosed with dilated cardiomyopathy,
Mm.
and Chagas was also detected in him. If he'd been tested for Chagas earlier in his life, his long-term prospects would have been better.
Mm-hmm.
A year after the diagnosis, Juan was found to have type 2 diabetes. This was dealt with relatively well, though his body did initially reject insulin. Juan took drugs for his heart and for several years was reasonably stable, but eventually monitoring revealed severe cardiac deterioration. His experience is very much what you'd expect in someone who's had the disease for years, and it's reached the latter stages. There's no cure, and the main recommendations are rest, exercise, and appropriate diet.
I see. And what can be done to combat Chagas generally?
Plenty. Researchers are working on improved drugs to treat it and a vaccine. None currently exists, but it takes at least 10 years to supply a new drug. Another idea is to develop the existing drugs in tablets of different sizes. That could and should be done almost overnight. What's currently available is designed for adults, even though infants often have the disease. There are also some very important programs using insecticides and other methods to wipe out the bugs that transfer Chagas to humans, but initiatives like those take decades rather than years.
Well, Dr. Jack Robson, thank you very much for speaking to us today.
Got it? Okay. Find out your
Now look at
answers
extract
and message me. Okay. What are the find out your answers and message me. Today signing as Sanita. Thank you for watching my videos. And please, I would like to tell you one more thing. Please share my videos. Maximum your support is always give me some motivation to me. Okay. I will upload reading and listening and writing videos in my YouTube channel. Additionally, I am planning to upload IELTS videos as well. Okay. Today signing as Sanita. Thank you for watching my videos.